Emily had always been a night owl, so when her boss asked her to stay late and close up the office, she didn't mind. The building was old, but she liked the solitude it provided after hours. The creaking of the wooden floors, the ticking of the wall clock, and the occasional hum of the old heating system created a soothing atmosphere. She felt at peace, even productive, when the rest of the world was asleep. On this particular night, the office was unusually quiet. Everyone had left by 8 p.m., and now, at nearly midnight, Emily was the last person in the building. She was finishing up some reports, her fingers tapping away at the keyboard, when she noticed something odd. The door to the office down the hall was ajar. Emily was certain she had closed it when she went in earlier to file some paperwork. She shrugged it off, thinking maybe a draft had pushed it open. She walked over, pushed the door shut, and returned to her desk. An hour passed, and Emily was starting to feel the strain of the late hour. She yawned, stretching her arms, and glanced at the hallway again. The door was open once more. A chill ran down her spine. This time, she knew it wasn't her imagination. She got up, her heart pounding, and approached the door cautiously. The hallway light flickered as she reached out to close it, her hand trembling. Suddenly, the lights went out, plunging the entire floor into darkness. Emily froze, listening to her own breath echo in the silence. She fumbled for her phone and turned on the flashlight, casting long, eerie shadows on the walls. She hurried back to her desk, trying to stay calm, but the uneasy feeling in her stomach was growing stronger. As she reached her desk, she heard a faint sound, a soft, almost imperceptible whisper. It was coming from the open door. She turned the flashlight towards the hallway, but all she saw was darkness. The whispering grew louder, more insistent, but she couldn't make out any words. Emily's hands were shaking as she dialed security. The phone rang and rang, but no one picked up. She tried again and again, but there was only silence on the other end. The whispering continued, now accompanied by faint footsteps echoing down the hallway. Panicked, Emily grabbed her bag and decided to leave. She hurried to the elevator, but when she pressed the button, nothing happened. The power was out. She cursed under her breath and made her way to the stairwell, hoping to reach the exit quickly. As she descended the stairs, the whispering followed her, growing louder with each step. She could feel eyes on her, watching, waiting. She began to run, her footsteps echoing loudly in the empty stairwell. The whispering turned into distorted voices, overlapping, getting closer and closer. Finally, she reached the ground floor. She burst through the stairwell door and sprinted towards the lobby, but as she rounded the corner, she stopped dead in her tracks. Standing in the middle of the lobby was a figure. It was tall, with elongated limbs and a head that seemed to twist unnaturally on its neck. The figure's face was obscured by shadows, but Emily could feel its gaze locked onto her. The voices around her were now a deafening roar, screaming unintelligible words. Emily's body refused to move. She was paralyzed with fear, her mind racing, trying to make sense of what she was seeing. The figure took a step towards her, and then another, its movements slow and deliberate. Emily's vision began to blur as she felt herself slipping into unconsciousness. The last thing she saw before everything went black was the figure reaching out to her, its long, thin fingers brushing against her cheek. When Emily woke up, she was lying on the cold floor of the office lobby. The lights were back on and everything seemed normal. The figure was gone, and the whispering had stopped. She scrambled to her feet, her heart still pounding, and bolted for the exit. As she stumbled out into the night, gasping for air, she looked back at the office building. The windows were dark and the building loomed over her like a silent, empty shell. Emily never returned to that office. She quit her job the next day, unable to explain what had happened that night. But no matter where she went, she couldn't shake the feeling that something was still following her, watching her, waiting for the next time she was alone in the dark.